Lincoln here, your Sega Genesis geek, with a very special video called Blast Processing is Real, fucking goddammit! Yeah, because it is. Blast Processing is motherfucking real, you know? But there were ads on TV back in the day that compared the Sega Genesis to the Super Nintendo, saying that the Sega Genesis had blast processing. The Super Nintendo did not. Right? And showed these the fucking drag racers, like racing. The Sega Genesis one took off while the Super Nintendo was just sputtering at the start line, right? Playing Mario Kart? Mario Kart's actually a pretty fucking good game. I don't know how they... Whatever. The commercial was basically saying that the Sega Genesis was faster than the Super Nintendo because it had blast processing, right? But, you know, that became a joke even back in the day. People joking about Sega Genesis and its blast processing. Mocking the Sega Genesis. The Sega Genesis does not like being mocked. Do not mock it. No, because it's true. Say fucking blast processing is fucking real, damn it. It is. Seriously. Yeah. Because, I mean, let's look at the specs of the Sega Genesis versus the Super Nintendo, right? And in almost every category, the Super Nintendo is far superior to the Sega Genesis, you know. With its, it has better resolution, it's got more colors, more simultaneous colors, shit like that. But what's really important is the first one, right? Where you see that the Sega Genesis has a 7.6 megahertz processor, and the Super Nintendo has a 3.6 megahertz processor, right? Now let me clarify that for you again, right? The Sega Genesis runs at 7.6 megahertz, while the Super Nintendo runs at 3.6 megahertz. That's more than twice as fast. Huh? I mean, by today's standards, 7.6 megahertz isn't really all that fast. But back in the day, that was significant, you know? The fact that the Sega Genesis is more than twice as fast as the Super Nintendo has a big difference on how your fucking games play, you know what I mean? Now, it's hard to actually show fucking two games next to each other where you can really see just how fast the Sega Genesis is, right? But, I mean, maybe I can. Let's break out fucking Super Ghouls and Ghosts on the Super Nintendo, and maybe I can demonstrate, right? I mean, running around in the first level with all the enemies attacking you and shit, you may experience some slowdown, right? Where the game literally slows down, right? Because it's having trouble keeping up with the game itself. Kids today might call that lag, but back in the day we called that slowdown, because the game was slowing down, right? But the Sega Genesis, like, never experiences that. Like, ever. Let's try a game on the Sega Genesis that really challenges the fucking processor, like Gunstar Heroes. Let's check that shit out, right? And Gunstar Heroes, hell, the Sega Genesis handles that fine. There's lots of shit flying around on the screen. Lots of stuff going on. But the Sega Genesis can handle it, because it's got a fucking central processor that's more than twice as fast, right? It's the difference between 7.6 megahertz and 3.6 megahertz. The fact that the Sega Genesis is more than twice as fast as the Super Nintendo. It's a fucking fact. Super Nintendo might have more colors, whatever. The Sega Genesis is faster. And that's the point. That's what blast processing is. And it's fucking real, goddammit. Right? Yeah. That's all I really wanted to say about that. But, anyway. Till fucking next time. Keep it real. Oh, starting to slow down. There's some people that claim that the slowdown is actually helpful because it gives you some response time or something like that. I do not agree! Fucking what? No! It makes it harder. It'd be better if just you could actually time your fucking jumps and shit. God damn it. Fuck you, game over! The slowdown got me fucking killed.